Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a Valorant Master Santiago 2026 Midway Review. Let's see how I did on the pick'ems and talk about some things I wanted to talk about regarding the game. So first, this is what happened. You should know by now probably if you're seeing this. How did my pick'ems go? Now, a note, I did kind of toss my pick'ems, not in the, oh, I just didn't know, but if you happen to go back and watch the first one, or if you saw it already, I did my pick'ems more so based off of what I wanted to roughly happen. I let that take over more so than what I thought would happen. And I say that, okay? So like not it's not just complete cope. I say it. I'm like, no, let's go for what I would like to happen here. And it got me somewhere. And it also bit me in the ass at points too. Like there was one that I thought a team was going to lose and they won, but thankfully that's who I wanted to win. And there's a team that I thought was going to win and they lost. So, evens out more or less. But moving on, let's talk about the games. Well, really quickly, where am I? 110, 1.7% of people with 616 other people. All right, Nongshim Gentle Mage. Man, so I went for Gentle Mage here, and I thought, I'm like, hey, I forgot to keep one thing in mind. I say it, and it, kind of bit me. Whereas, like, no, I think that the competition for like the rest out of the leagues, the regions, didn't look as close. I should have put Nongshim because I did also think that GE and RRQ looked good as well as the people that made it. Well, actually, I didn't think T1 or Paper X looked that good. I thought they got lucky. Truth, truth be told, in full sense, they actually had to deal with those type of things. Meanwhile, Gentlemates, I'm like, but they came close versus BBL, and BBL looked pretty good. Everybody else looked shit, but there's that whatever. So I probably should have rated that higher. So I did lose that one out. Um, Gentlemates. I don't think they look that bad in the game, but they clearly had no idea how to tackle the issue of Dombey, and so far that seems to be continuing for everybody. So can't fault them there. All gamers G2, absolutely nothing to say. G2 stomp. Moving on. Paper X Furia, which is funny. So there was a lot of talk here of, oh my gosh, that feels bad. And then Shaw, he's like, no, we would have picked him first anyway because we wanted to. And that's kind of who I've been watching to like get the boys to this point and things like that. Um, and this is evident, which is one of my issues actually with how Furia operate. Uh, so I am watching, and I think this one was a lot more evident in the BBL game. So I think I'll wait to finish this thought there. But no, I think I can see it. I definitely see Shaw doing some of the same things that Alex does. And on that note, I look just like Alex behind the scenes, right? During the game, I probably look pissed. What the fuck are they doing? Why would we that if I had watch party rights, that's probably what I would look like. And I would also probably say a lot of things that you can't put on broadcast. Well, I mean, you can curse on broadcast, so maybe not. But you know, I look the same as Alex, so I feel for him. I really do feel for that man's blood pressure. Um, and coming back to like interview questions and things, which we'll come back to again for Furia. Funny enough, uh, the all gamers one. If the player just doesn't say like they don't feel anything, and not to say like this was just a minor harp, like it's a real nitpick, but if the player's like, nah, I'm not feeling anything, I think they just not gonna feel anything. So for the desk to be like, no, it looks like he cares, yeah, I think you would still care a little bit when you get shot and lose the round. I think going into it, you have to try to have no nerves, so don't make the person nervous. You're like, ooh, are you sure you're going to get G2? Ooh. Right? Like, not to say that interviewer did that, but just like, I didn't see the correlation, but it's just a quick desk aside that they're just saying it's what people would have said, right? That's what anybody's going to say, which is funny enough what I want to come to for the Furia. But Paper X 2-1 Furia. The boys of Furia look good. Look better than I expected. To be honest, I didn't expect them to get at least one map. Uh, and in a convention fashion. And it sounds bad. Even though I was rooting for them, I truly was, but I just didn't think that they were ready for that level of team yet. But they exceeded my expectations. Then BBL NRG. Oh boy, NRG just barely brings it home with a 17-15 split. Yeah, 17-15 split. They barely bring it over the line. I was worried. This was my one that I was like, oh, I want NRG to win, but I think BBL will do it. I was wrong. No, luckily I was wrong. Thankfully I was wrong because I just didn't see how past Mata and the GOAT Ethan, how the rest of them were going to handle the straight shooters on BBL. Didn't know how that was going to happen, but tactics took over a little bit. I gotta say, Bonkar did his research. W Bonkar. So that was that. That's the main takeaway. I think Bonkar is a really good coach. Like truthfully, I think that man is a really good coach. You don't need me to say it. Already won a title, but I didn't know much about him before NRG. Really, I wasn't watching. What was it? Oxygen that he was on. Uh, Truth be told, but no, I'm impressed with the amount of things that I see and the timeouts. I'm impressed. My two coaches that I always impress me, Alex and Bonkar. Then we go, Gentlemates, all gamers. This shit was funny. We were all expecting all gamers to possibly tie, if not beat the record of team that has not won that many rounds at an international. Instead, they turn around, bring it back, upset, kick out Gentlemates. And in the post match interview, my new favorite one, Fangira says, man, guys, we just gotta have no stress. Who gives a fuck about this game? That fucking felt great, or whatever he said. And boys just triple swing everything. Only Martin can shoot. That shit was funny as fuck, and he's absolutely correct. Unfortunately, don't know what happened to many throughout playoffs. Sometimes it happens. Players dip off, but it was a bad sign when your second duelist backslash entry duelist is losing the skirmish to the assistant coach. Damn, that one. Yeah, that's a rough one. That is a rough one. So I think that you kind of obliterate the mental from there, and then when it looks like it's starting to slip away from you, even though you are up, it eventually slips from you. So congrats to all gamers for bringing it over, but I do have a couple of things about their players looking to slip as well. Then we come to Furia BBL. BBL takes it over the line past Furia. And this is where I want to talk about the other interview that I saw getting some flack. Uh, I was going to say the interview, but let me just not, because just in case I'm wrong about their last name, because I'm recalling really quickly. But uh, the interviewer post match press conference was getting flack for asking EU about falling off final round. And I think it goes two ways. I think that it's not necessary to give them flack because anybody's going to ask. Anybody is going to ask, and you're like, but he didn't have to do it after the match, like immediately after match. Somebody's going to ask. If you have the option to interview a player, hell, it'll be Twitch chat. Next time EU boots up a stream, if they didn't ask him now, and they're probably still going to ask him, somebody's going to come in, be an asshole, and be like, how did it feel to fall off when there was a chance for you to not lose? Like, somebody's going to ask. So, that's not where I think that there should be flack for it. However, though, this is where I do, just because watching any other esport, sports in general, any interview, this is where I do have the flack. It's a weak ass question. It's a weak ass question. It's a weak as fuck question. Because, as I said previously, anybody's going to ask. So there's a difference between asking the questions that's not ever going to get an answer, or asking the questions that you in this unique opportunity have the chance to ask. People go, oh, but you want to get their raw emotions right after the loss. Thankfully, EU handled it gracefully. Um, Detailed answer. But anybody that's looked at an athlete interview, you very rarely get that. When you lose something and somebody goes, hey, you lost. How did it feel to lose? It felt bad. Next question. Like, it's a weak ass question. That's my only flack with it. Like, you had ample opportunity to ask anything better. And I hope that EU doesn't beat himself up about it because, truthfully, he shouldn't have been in that position. Artson was bringing it back in solo, and three of his teammates absolutely get mopped immediately on site. The hit was kind of readable. Like, we all kind of figured that they saw that Artson was a problem. So, no, everybody run at Artson. Artson is no longer in that spot. And then the other three just couldn't handle that rush of people. They all 1, 2, 3 go down. Then it's Artson and EU left in what, a 2v4 or 2v5. Um, there was nothing that was going to happen. So while it probably sucks in the moment that you fell off the cliff, it shouldn't have been on EU to try to clutch up. Truthfully, the other three that died immediately should have hit their fucking shot. Sorry. So that's kind of how I feel about the Furia, where it's like one, the interview. Yeah, I don't think you should get flack for asking. It's not unnecessary. Well, it is unnecessary if you ask me, but not for the same. Oh, it's unnecessary to ask him. Consider his feelings. No, I think it's unnecessary because somebody's going to ask it. This is the time to ask much more interesting questions than the questions that everybody fucking does. And they look they exceeded expectations. They won some maps off of some great teams after looking pretty bad in off season. They kicked America's ass. Shout out Furia. Glad it happened. BBL, they were beating the allegations. They actually beat it by looking close to NRG. And it was like, oh my gosh, this team is going to be so overrated. Why do people see BBL? I don't know, man. I looked at that game, the BBL versus Gentlemates. Well, when it stopped looking rough, and like BBL overall, a core that's been together for a while. Yeah, they're going to look pretty good. Don't know why they leaned into the whole I'm a bad boy situation. I never really like they want to be the villain, I guess, but you're probably too young to do that. I don't know. I don't know. They did it. People feel some type of way about it. And now you're going to talk about them. I feel like you can do that after you, like when you're closer. You can start being the bad boy at like the lower final, grand final, upper final, things like that. You can look like an asshole then. I don't know if you can do it so early. So when it when you get knocked out, I don't know. Everybody's gonna be like, we don't want to see him again. Coming to upper semifinals, Nongsim versus G2. This one, boy oh boy, man oh man, am I mad at G2. So the reason they haven't been playing double duelist forever is because they're like it just now finally clicked, and I'm still seeing the problems. They don't know what the fuck they're doing at times. Like truly, like I understand it's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. It's probably a lot easier for me to go just swing the neon or whatever the hell that my well actually I'll say what my thing is in a second because there's a couple of things here, right? Um, and it's easier said than done. But I think Josh said it. Maybe it was this game, maybe it was the next game. But their micro was just off. Like they're doing questionable ass shit. G2. So of course for Nongshim, no notes. Domby ran at people plus 18 over the series. Good call on map for Abyss. Make Domby get off Neon, put him on Waylay, start winning the game. Cool, no notes there. Um, this I have a lot of notes about because this is where Domby became a problem. But he shouldn't have been. You cannot play close versus a Neon, a certain agents, in a double duelist comp. Why is my Viper holding a fucking Bucky at B next to the wall? And also, all the boys at G2 need training on how to properly use the shotguns in the game. They all need to work on that aim situation. But I hated where Leaf was playing. Hated that. I also hated, surprise, surprise, I have my ISO here, okay? ISO undercut. We talked about this kind of a bit with the Fnatic composition for Kuro that, won out, but, Fnatic had other issues. Um, I have I have my ISO with an undercut that suppresses invulnerables, and I have one area. They're not splitting the map, they're coming straight through main. At the drop of a hat, you undercut, you stop the fucking neon as they come through this wall that they're vulnerable now twice over. Take them out. But no, instead, my ISO is playing on A in a random fucking corner. Also, in a corner on site while having the ult for retake. Instead of, if we're going to be on site in corners, right down the line where you can once again undercut and have a crossfire to look over to main as they can flood in. But no, we have our ISO in a corner on site on A getting spammed out because why is my ISO playing that position versus a neon comp? Next up, I actually don't have too many things about where Trent was that wasn't on him. But again, I always hate when my initiator and my controller are the ones taking first contact in spots instead of my duelist. Why is my waylay behind? And this is the other thing that drives me up a wall about G2's defense, just in general. They're still playing as if people are going to leave late lurks, but they're doing it with agents that need to be on the site. Your two duelists need to be at the retake. I don't understand why they play Giacomo or Babybase so far away from the retake to check every corner. No, I need you to get into the fucking site. Make Leaf go do that shit. Make Valen do that. All Valen needs to know is where to smoke. So, they got zombied pretty bad. Split, they barely lost it out. And again, this is G2. I didn't realize how bad I was rooting for you, but I gotta admit, a lot of it is me rooting for Baby Bay. So, you're playing a double duelist comp. Everybody knows that on defense you have to be proactive, but instead, we do none of that. Ever. Except for one round, we make a proactive push down mid, it works out, you win the round, and you never do anything like that again. Oh my goodness, I was pissed. So, if G2 continues to have this crucial flaw in not knowing how to play defense with double duelists, I can't see them winning at all. So I hope they fix that shit. Paper X NRG. Didn't expect NRG to take the dub here. I really didn't. And they did it, it was close. It was definitely a good series. Definitely a good series. I think this was more Paper X making their Paper X mistakes more than it was NRG being amazing. Don't get me wrong, Bondcar called some great shit. Was it Bind? Bondcar calls a timeout, third round. Was it third round? I don't remember. Bondcar called some great timeouts and knew exactly what the fuck was going to happen, apparently. And went about his day. That was pretty sick series. Didn't expect it to be a 2-0 NRG, but there we go. And I still feel for Alex because, man, I promise you I look just like Alex behind closed doors. Whereas it's like, what the fuck are we doing in the moment? But, hey, so I know people are like, well, man, Alex gotta chill. It's like, I don't know, dude. Looks like me. So, for his health, maybe he has to chill. But beyond that, it's fine. Come on down to Paper Rex, all gamers. Honestly, I was feeling that all gamers had a chance, and this is where it comes into the being scared situation that I was kind of worried about for all gamers. Fangir and Shrimp were playing. They were playing to win. They were still trying to win the series. These other three, they just stopped. things they were doing was questionable as fuck. Their placement was questionable as fuck. I just I was wondering what the hell was going on between these other three. Not just to say because Shrimp was hitting shots, you wouldn't be able to tell it was hitting insane shots from -7 on the series immediately. But I think that Fangear and Shrimp were playing to win. The other ones were playing to not lose. Meanwhile, you have Envy going plus 14. Something woke up. He was like, no, I'm still something. But plus 21 on the series, and Jang plus 19. It was, it was a good watch. There was some funny moments in there. They seem to be enjoying it. I'm glad that everybody seemed to be well, I'm glad that Fangear and Shrimp seem to be enjoying the match versus Paper X. I don't know what the other three were doing. Probably got worried. And I'm gonna be real. That sounds like coming a lot on them. They're new. They probably had nerves, the same nerves they had in the first match. They probably had more nerves in the possible elimination. So, you know, Fangear and Shrimp, I hope that we see them continue, definitely. And I hope that the other two I hope it locks in. It takes that stage experience. I hope that they try again with the roster. Just give them more time, right? But if that's wishful thinking in esports in general, I hope that Fangear ends up in what, EMEA? Sure, let's go with that. Well, yeah, Fangear was on KC, right? KC Academy. So I hope that Fangear, if China doesn't continue to work out or something like that, ends up in EMEA. And I hope that Shrimp really goes to another solid Chinese team if this roster makes changes. So yeah, that was that one. And then G2 over BBL. They were going at it. Man, they were going at it in that series back and forth. The trash talk was flying, people getting up. Still very worried about how G2 handles defense. This is why, yay, congrats, the double duelist comp can win on attack. See what I mean when it comes to defense? I don't care if it's a 13-5. We need to figure out how the fuck to defend. Got G2. Admittedly, this one looks like they know how to defend a bit more, but I think the pressure got to some of the BBL crew. They were a lot less trash talky compared to LaRock was still on it. Uh, and honestly, I did not know that's what Rose looked like on map 2. But if you ask me again, Rose hit some fucking shots when it is down to him. He dragging it like down to the mud. You are going to. So impressed by LaRock, even though I know like there was a lot of shit talking out of this kid. I'm like, man, that's insane amounts of shit talk. Like, I don't know if we've seen that much like in a match before. My goodness, of Valorant. Other ones, yeah, no, definitely. But Rose, which people keep calling Rose, but I could have sworn it was Rose. But Rose, yeah, no, I think that whatever happens, I hope that they stick together, give it another shot. But I think that Rose he is very smart and can hit shots. If you want to talk about frag and IGOs, fuck this. I don't care about this one game. No, watch him work. I am very high up on Rose, and looks calm for all of it. He's like, yep, this is what's going on, and has pretty good mental to try to turn things around, if not make it fucking close. Now I know 13-8 and 13-5 aren't the closest ones, but try to rally back, try to get it in. I think this was the only time that I've been truly concerned about what's going on with BBL is this 10-1 into 10-2 situation. Sorry, 11-1. Can't do math real quick. 11-1 situation on Haven. That was the only time that I was like, what the fuck is wrong with BBL? And they tried to get on Breeze. They got some fire back on under them. They tried. But yeah, I already said my issues with G2. Oh, and going back, I had notes because I had one thing to say about Furia. Oh, so because well, speaking about BBL opponents, Furia, I think it was Shaw said, and I think Koala also co-signed it. that they wanted to pick Paper Rex because like that's where Shaw was like, yeah, I've been watching him for like how to do things kind of when you're watching Alex and everything. And look, I think that's very true. I think that's to a fault though, because one thing that I've been really harping on that I'm glad that player coaches like Lohan and shit, who was the other one? There was another one I was hard on, but finally made that adaptation and it looked better. But it came. They still had some things to do. It came a little bit later. Only so much to do. It was Lohan. Oh, goodness, why am I blanking? Fnatic, Fnatic coach, Milan. Um, it was Lohan and Milan. Funny, both EMEA, I guess. Where and this is what I think Shaw needed to lock in on because Shaw, after the timeouts, clearly had good calls of what to do. Clearly had good calls of what to do. Um, but you can't let the enemy team get 3+ rounds in this meta in this state of the game because the snowball is insane. You can't let it happen. I don't care what you think your players are saying or whatever, especially in Furious' case where apparently he's only talking to Heartson and then having this three-way chain of command situation. Uh, you can't let it happen. So Alex lets it happen because that's how Paper Rex is. Like he'll say something and then when he makes the call, it's like, great, like guys, you got to fix this thing. And half the things is Paper Rex biting themselves in the ass. Like half of it is Paper Rex. Why on earth would you swing that now, knowing X, Y, and Z? Also, all gamers pissed me off with that too. There was a round versus Paper Rex. Was it Crow? Well, I'll come back to that after. But it seems clear that Shaw was watching Alex, and Artson has been watching Boaster. I don't know what we're doing. Well, I know what we're doing. I know exactly what we're doing. You're trying to get a reaction. You're trying to make people think, have to re-clear things. People aren't re-clearing things because they don't have the util to do it anymore. They're just saying, fuck it, I guess we'll retake. They're not moving. They're moving like once and calling it, okay, I guess we'll retake. They're not doing it. So, giving the enemy team 5 million years to rotate if, okay, and this is the other thing, with not planting when you have the site clear, if they're on the other site, they can realize you're not here. You have zero information of if they're re-clearing the other site. So while you're burning the clock by the minute and trying to get it down to 10 seconds to plant, they've already known that it's just one site. You're not even in fucking mid at this point. They all know where you are. You have to get the spike down. So, Artson's been watching Boaster. Shaw has been watching Alex. Which, not to say it's a bad combination. It's gotten them this far. And this is just a theory. But, I gotta say, putting it together, there are times where I'm just like, Shaw, call the fucking timeout. You understand what to do clearly. Artson, hey, we gotta move. We're going far too slow here. We gotta move. We've gotta move. So it's like it was. They kind of pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, because it was clearly winnable. Artson, I think, is a very good IGL. Like, don't get what I just said any amount of twisted. I think I am thoroughly impressed, and I would put him as one of the not just because made it this far, but if you were to ask me of the best IGOs right now, Archon is definitely one of them. I am incredibly impressed by the way and the understanding of the map. I think that there's just some calls that aren't happening because of the way the game is, which is the same with G2, where it's like, Valen, I understand you guys go through drills, training, practice, want to be knit tight, whatever. Nobody's playing like that anymore, so having your duelist 5 miles away when you need to retake, you have 15 seconds to retake the site and you have no util to do it. You gotta get your duelist in here. Make your smokes. Make your one initiator. do that, but probably not him either. Make one of the smokes being played do that, i.e., you, right? Um, so Furia got it there close. Oh, and the all gamer situation, man, what was I gonna? That's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna kick myself later about not saying it. Da. All gamers, Paper X after Furia. Yeah, I don't know. If you care that much, remind me in the comments what I was losing my train of thought about. But it was a good. It's been a good one so far. Like it really picked up in pace. I hope that everything works out for these teams. I hope that we don't see too many changes before you know we kick up with the next situation. Right, next stage one. Uh, I think that this was pretty good. I think that this was pretty good. So next up we have Nongsim, NRG, and PaperX G2. According to my pickums, I have KG2's not there, and Fury is not there. So, who do I think would win without being able to change my pickums? I think Bonkar is actually smart enough, not to say that nobody else is smart enough, but I do have faith that Bonkar can look at his players, right? Look at his players and go, hey, he's going to run at you. You don't need to play fucking close with the weapon that you need to hit the one shot. I have full confidence that Brock knows an Odin line to handle Dombey enough while the other ones get in position. I think Mata actually has a good shot here of taking over the game. Paper XG2 G2 needs to understand the comps that they stole a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, the Paper X comp lost again to something else, right? Was it T1? It was some comp on Haven. Uh, but I'm just not sold that G2 understands how to play defense in a double duelist comp. I'm not sold. And with that, Paper X has been doing this shit for a while. So sadly, I think that this is where G2 goes. I think Josh has a lot on his plate to try to formulate a plan for specifically Paper X. Like they already lost to him before in playoffs. I mean in play-ins, excuse me. I don't know. I don't I can't see G2 taking it home, especially if they don't start attack. They need to start attack because I think Valen definitely has attack calling down with a double duelist situation. But we really gotta work on defending with double duelist. Like we really gotta work on that. We have to be proactive. We can't just. It reminds again. I keep making these uh, callbacks to Sentinels rosters, or whatever. But it's just like when Sentinels had the good split and they were just playing retake all the time, and nobody in Americas was smart enough. Yeah, I'll flame right now. Smart enough to go, hey, what if we stand here? Like, what if we just don't let them get into their perfect spots? That's what it feels like defense for G2 is. Where it's like, no, you have to go do something. You're playing double duelist, and there's no util right now. So, if G2 fixes that, I think they have a shot. If they still haven't figured it out, I think we're fucked. I think they're fucked. NRG though, I have confidence NRG gets to the grand finals, and the goat Ethan. Not to put too much on him, but I will say, people leave him out of conversations they really shouldn't. He's now done it 2 times with rosters filled with people that go, "Who the fuck are they?" Compared to your favorites, doing it with rosters that stuck together. Maybe they did it once or twice, but then when there's any changes made, they just can't get close to it. I know, dude. I think you need to put Ethan in more conversations. They're looking good out there. So, but to say though, it is APAC versus NA both ways. So that's kind of funny. That is kind of funny. Hopefully, maybe I want it to be NA Grand Finals, right? Actually, I put that in the pick'em, didn't I? Yeah. Uh, but that's that. So, hey, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.